Think Yamaha just slapped new graphics on their 2026 motocross lineup and called it a day? Think again. While the YZ250F and YZ250 only got updated graphics, Yamaha's engineers redesigned the YZ450F's frame, suspension, engine internals, and added a new ECU lock function that prevents theft through the Yamaha Power Tuner app. But here's what's really interesting. They also gave the budget-friendly YZ125 some major love while leaving their mid-range bikes practically untouched. With prices ranging from $7,199 for the YZ125 to $10,299 for the YZ450F, there's a clear strategy here that most people are missing. Some models got the full engineering treatment while others barely changed at all. The big winner, YZ450F, gets the full treatment. The YZ450F received updates across 6 key areas: frame design, high-performance KYB rear shock, fork settings, intake port, resonators, hydraulic clutch, and ECU lock function. Yamaha didn't just tweak this machine. They focused serious engineering resources on the components that matter most for performance. But here's what's wild. While they were spending development dollars on comprehensive upgrades, they left other models almost untouched. A thinner down tube and revised inner-outer structure deliver better cornering stability and front-end feel per Yamaha's release. This isn't just marketing talk either. What that means for you is more stable cornering and improved front-end response when you're pushing hard through turns. The bike becomes more predictable and responsive, which translates to faster lap times and more confidence when the track gets rough. They paired this frame with a brand new KYB rear shock that has a hand-operated low-speed compression clicker for trackside adjustments. No more guessing games or complicated tools. You can dial in your suspension settings between motos without breaking out the entire toolbox. The enhanced damping feel and reduced bump reaction improves rider confidence in rough terrain, letting you maintain speed through challenging sections. The engine got a redesigned intake port that creates a stronger tumble effect in the combustion chamber for more efficient combustion. This results in what Derek Brooks, Yamaha Motorsports motorcycle product line manager, calls a more intuitive, rider-friendly character that unlocks a racer's full potential. The power delivery becomes more linear, giving you better throttle connection and feel when you're trying to put power down out of corners. But the real game changer might be the industry-first ECU lock function that prevents theft through the Yamaha Power Tuner app. Think about it. You can lock your bike's brain so nobody can start it without your password. This isn't just some gimmick either. With bikes getting stolen left and right at tracks and events, having a theft deterrent system built right into the ECU is actually pretty smart. You access it through the Yamaha Power Tuner app, making it simple to use but tough for thieves to crack. The hydraulic clutch eliminates the need for on-track adjustments with its consistent mesh point and lighter lever feel. No more constantly tweaking cable tension or dealing with inconsistent engagement. The new clutch inner hub design also improves lubrication, which means more stable performance and longer clutch life. Your hand won't get as tired during long motos, and you won't have to worry about the clutch point changing as things heat up. Yamaha also added a new resonator and duct in the air intake, plus a resonator in the exhaust system to reduce noise and increase rider comfort while keeping everything within FM and AMA regulations. At $10,299 MSRP, the YZ450F represents where Yamaha put their serious development dollars, and it shows in every component. This isn't just a refresh with new graphics. It's a complete rethink of what a 450 should be. The goal was to create a bike that's easier to ride faster for longer, and judging by all these changes, they've hit that target. But their development strategy gets even more interesting when you look at where else they chose to invest. The surprise upgrade: why the YZ125 got major love. The YZ125 at $7,199 received the kind of engineering attention you'd expect on a flagship model. Yamaha prioritized rideability on their entry-level 125 two-stroke with meaningful performance upgrades that target the bike's biggest weakness: inconsistent power delivery that could frustrate developing riders. Revised intake boot, carburetor jetting, and CDI maps smooth out power delivery across altitudes and temperatures. If you've ever ridden an older 125 two-stroke, you know the frustration of dealing with jetting changes every time the weather shifts, or you ride at a different altitude. The new intake system smooths out these variations, giving you more predictable power whether you're riding in hot summer conditions or cooler fall weather. The carburetor changes complement this by providing better fuel atomization across a wider range of operating conditions. New CDI settings create a more linear power delivery that makes the bike easier for newer riders to handle. Two-stroke 125s have always been known for their aggressive hit-or-miss power bands that can catch inexperienced riders off guard. The revised CDI timing maps eliminate some of that sudden power spike, replacing it with a more gradual buildup that's easier to control. You still get the instant throttle response that makes two-strokes fun, but without the brutal power hit that can send newer riders flying over the handlebars. These changes mean riders can focus on developing their skills instead of constantly adjusting to the bike's moods. Consistent power means fewer jetting headaches and more time actually riding. The power curve improvements let you work on cornering technique and build confidence without fighting an unpredictable machine. The improvements focus on rideability rather than peak power, which shows Yamaha understands their YZ125 customer base perfectly. Most people buying a YZ125 aren't looking for the absolute fastest bike on the track. They're either new to motocross or they're experienced riders who love the simplicity and fun factor of a two-stroke 125. Making the bike more user-friendly serves both groups better than adding more horsepower that most riders couldn't use anyway. But there's a bigger strategy here that becomes clear when you look at the BLU-CRU contingency program offering over $10 million in racing support. Race payouts create direct financial incentives for riders to choose Yamaha and stick with the brand as they progress through different bike categories. A rider who learns on a YZ125 is much more likely to buy a YZ250F when they're ready to move up than a YZ450F when they want more power. Yamaha invested in the YZ125 because they want to hook riders early and build brand loyalty from the ground up. It's not about making money on the YZ125 itself, it's about creating customers who will buy multiple Yamahas over their riding careers. This approach becomes even clearer when you see their completely different strategy with other models in the lineup. The untouched middle, YZ250F and YZ250 stand still. The YZ250F at $8,899 and YZ250 at $8,099 carry over their proven platforms, updated only in color and graphics. No engine changes, no suspension tweaks, nothing beyond visual updates. This seems like a missed opportunity until you realize these bikes were already hitting their performance targets perfectly. The YZ250F has been a consistent performer in its class, and Yamaha's decision to leave it unchanged reflects confidence in the existing platform. When you have a bike that's been competitive year after year, major changes could disrupt a winning formula. The current YZ250F platform delivers the right balance of power, handling, and reliability that riders expect from a 250 4-stroke. Making dramatic changes just for the sake of change could have backfired and created problems that didn't exist before. The YZ250 2-stroke has remained largely the same for years because the platform is already optimized for its intended use. Two-stroke technology is pretty mature at this point. The basic formula for a good 252 stroke hasn't changed much in decades. You need a strong engine, good suspension, and a frame that handles well. The YZ250 already delivers on all these fronts. When you look at other manufacturers' 252 strokes, they're not dramatically different from what they were 5 or 10 years ago either. Sometimes the smartest engineering decision is knowing when not to change something that's working well. The YZ250F and YZ250 aren't broken, so why fix them? The current designs meet rider expectations and perform well against the competition. Major updates would have required extensive testing and development time that could be better spent elsewhere. This approach let Yamaha focus their development budget on the models that needed the most attention. Instead of spreading resources thin across every bike in the lineup, they concentrated on the YZ450F that was due for a major refresh and the YZ125 that could benefit from better rideability. This focused approach means the bikes that did get updates received more thorough improvements rather than superficial changes across the board. The strategy also keeps costs down for riders who want proven performance without paying for unnecessary updates. When manufacturers make major changes to a bike, those development costs get passed on to customers through higher prices. By keeping the YZ250F and YZ250 unchanged, Yamaha avoided price increases on these models. Riders get the same reliable performance they've come to expect without having to pay extra for features they didn't ask for. By leaving these models alone, Yamaha showed they understand that not every bike needs constant changes to stay competitive. This approach allows them to maintain competitive pricing while focusing development dollars where they'll have the biggest impact. But this selective update strategy becomes even clearer when you look at their approach to the youngest riders in their lineup. The youth investment, YZ85 and YZ65. Strategy: the YZ85 at $5,099 and YZ65 at $4,499 represent Yamaha's long-term investment in young riders who will become tomorrow's customers. These bikes need to be affordable for families while still delivering the performance that creates lifelong brand loyalty. The YZ65 features a liquid-cooled 65 cubic centimeter two-stroke engine with YPVS mechanical system for smooth power delivery that won't overwhelm young riders. The YPVS system optimizes torque for enhanced low and mid-range performance, which is exactly what developing riders need. Instead of a brutal power hit that can scare kids, the system creates predictable power that helps them learn proper throttle control. The 6-speed gearbox lets riders maximize performance on various circuits, giving them room to grow their skills without outgrowing the bike too quickly. Its semi-double cradle frame with removable aluminum rear end provides the perfect balance of agility and stability for developing skills. The lightweight aluminum swing arm keeps the bike nimble without sacrificing strength. Young riders need a bike that responds to their input without being twitchy or unpredictable. This frame design delivers exactly that: responsive handling that builds confidence rather than creating fear. The 36mm KYB fork and monocross rear suspension offer exceptional handling that helps young riders build confidence. Quality suspension matters even more for kids because they're still learning how to read terrain and adjust their riding style. Good suspension forgives mistakes and smooths out rough sections that might otherwise send a young rider flying. Adjustable handlebars in 4 positions let the bike grow with the rider, extending its useful life for families. This is huge for parents who don't want to buy a new bike every year as their kid grows. The handlebars can be repositioned to accommodate different rider heights and preferences, making the bike comfortable for longer periods. A comfortable rider is a confident rider, and confident riders stick with the sport longer. The YZ85 bridges the gap between youth and adult bikes, preparing riders for the transition to full-size models. The YZ85's lightweight, finely tuned aluminum chassis offers nimble handling with minimal rider fatigue. The best-in-class speed-sensitive 48mm KYB fork includes a leaf spring in the mid-speed valve for performance that rivals adult bikes. The fully adjustable KYB shock provides exceptional rear-wheel control that teaches riders what quality suspension feels like before they move up to bigger bikes. Yamaha views these youth models as entry points to the brand, building relationships with families and young riders who represent decades of potential future purchases. A kid who learns on a YZ65 and has a great experience is likely to want a YZ125 next, then maybe a YZ250F, and eventually a YZ450F. The company makes minimal profit on these youth models, but the brand loyalty they create is worth millions in future sales. This explains why Yamaha can offer such competitive pricing while maintaining quality components. They're not trying to maximize profit on each sale. They're investing in the motocross community while securing their customer base for years to come. But there's one more decision every buyer faces across the entire 2026 lineup that has nothing to do with performance. The 70th anniversary question: worth the premium? Every 2026 model offers a 70th anniversary edition that adds $200 for Yamaha's white and red speed block livery, inspired by the '98 YZ400F. The value proposition isn't as simple as it seems. Some riders will pay anything for limited edition graphics, while others see it as pure marketing fluff with no performance benefit. The livery does look sharp and pays homage to Yamaha's racing heritage in a way that resonates with longtime fans. This color scheme draws inspiration from the first YZ400F, raced in the late 1990s by legendary riders such as Doug Henry and Andrea Bartolini. The white and red speed block design isn't just random colors thrown together. It's a direct callback to Yamaha's racing history, that many riders remember from watching Supercross on Saturday nights. The graphics are designed to stand out on the track, which matters if you care about looking different from standard Team Yamaha blue bikes at your local track. The anniversary editions arrive in October with limited production timing, making them more exclusive than standard models. If you're the type of rider who keeps bikes for years rather than trading up every season, the special livery might hold appeal beyond just the visual difference. But the real question is whether that exclusivity matters to your riding experience. The anniversary editions make most sense for enthusiasts who value heritage and exclusivity over pure performance value. Your decision should align with whether you're buying a race bike or a piece of motocross history. But beyond graphics packages and anniversary editions, the real story lies in how Yamaha allocated their engineering resources across the entire 2026 lineup. In conclusion, Yamaha's focused development approach shows they understand exactly which bikes needed attention and which ones already worked perfectly. The YZ450F received a complete redesign with new frame, suspension, and ECU lock function that justifies upgrading from 2025 models. The YZ125 got rideability improvements that fix its biggest weakness: inconsistent power delivery. The YZ250F and YZ250 carry over proven platforms because major changes weren't needed. Youth models represent long-term investment in building future customers. If you're riding a 2025 YZ450F, weigh the upgrade value based on the revised frame geometry, new KYB suspension components, and theft-deterrent ECU lock function, rather than just general improvements. YZ250F and YZ250 owners can confidently stick with their current bikes without missing meaningful updates. Let me know in the comments if you're upgrading to 2026 or sticking with a stable platform.